Hey there, this is Eric back from the Mastermind Within talking about how to become a better piano player. This is part of the series in May 2018, How to Become a Better Learner, where I'm going through and I'm sharing with my readers and you how to become a better learner. And I'm using the principles that are taught out of Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Chef. And in The 4-Hour Chef, Tim Ferriss talks about a strategy to become a better learner around the acronym DISS, DSSS, which stands for deconstruction, selection, sequencing, and stakes. This is video number 5, and so far we've went through deconstruction and selection, and today we're going to be talking about sequencing. Essentially, sequencing is once we've figured out our goals, once we've deconstructed where we want to go, and also then dove in and figured out what is the 20% which is going to result in 80% of your results in terms of using the Pareto Principle and selecting what's necessary to get to your goals, then now it's figuring out, okay, out of that 20% that we determined, what's going to be the most, or what's the most effective path to becoming successful in whatever you're trying to do. So some examples of what sequencing could look like for you is you could think about it like a cooking recipe. To bake something, it probably doesn't make sense to put the pan in the oven first and then take the pan out of the oven and add all the ingredients and think of, then nothing will get baked. That's kind of obvious to you, I'm guessing. But that's one example of sequencing where if you don't do it in the right order, it's not going to result in anything. It's not going to result in what you want. And so that's kind of what sequencing is about. And so for me, this month, I'm looking to become a better piano player, applying that strategy. So going back to last video, one of my goals is to become a better sight reader, but then also to have a better musical ear and be able to produce music. And so over the weekend, and what I talked about in the last video was how I came across learning about how to do chord progressions, learning about how to improvise over chord progression. And so now that I've learned how to do that, I think that from the selection part of the strategy, I think that that's part of that 20%. Now it's how do I go about acting on that 20% and what's the proper sequence. So I think right now, if I want to be able to play in any key, so what I mean by key is like C or G or F or something like that. If I want to just be able to say, okay, I'm going to play this song in whatever key and then just go be able to improvise, well, then there needs to be a process that I should probably establish. So now thinking about what the process is, so I think starting off there should be some theory and some technical background. Like for example, if I say I'm gonna go play in the F scale, F key, then I should know what the notes are in that one. So I have my theory book here, and then I'm gonna play some improv in F for you. And I think at this point, I have a decent understanding of how sequencing is gonna go, and then it's just putting in the work. And so that's that for sequencing. Again, it's figuring out try and figure out what's the order in which you're going to go and apply your 20% that you came up with. And then also learning from others and figuring out what nuances they have in their success so that you can apply that in your sequencing as well. So I'm going to play a little bit for you here as another video here for just documenting my journey here. And again, I'm going to play an F for the rest of the video here. And then last video we were talking about chord progressions, and so I'm gonna do a 1, 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. So that's gonna sound something like this. And then I'm gonna improv over the top with my right hand, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I already messed up. Alright, let's try that again. I messed up the chords trying to get a little fancier, so I'll just go simple. So if you enjoyed that, messed up a little bit, but that's fine. And again, just practicing at this point, I think I figured out what my sequencing is. It's first learning the key, going through and learning the keys, and then learning the chords that go along with it, and then putting it into practice, and eventually then going through and trying to improve my musical ear. I think that's going to be another piece to this. Figuring out how to actually do that. But that's probably for another video later on in the series. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.